Welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. We are live today on YouTube, Facebook, and on Rumble with today's show highlighted by the much-anticipated return of the fan-led mock draft. Here's how things are going to go. All throughout today's show, we'll check in on various rounds. We'll do day 3 at the end of today's show. We'll give extra time for the first round. That's oh so fun right there. I have the PFF draft sim up, the first one I ran, and we'll go through that all the way through. Now, the poll side on YouTube is limited to 4 options. Vote on the poll side. You can also vote in the comments section. We have the proprietary data scraper working behind the scenes to pull each comment on Facebook as well, by the way. But round 1, these are the 4 options. Bijan Robinson was there. I'm going to say it now. I'll probably say it again later. Please no complaining about he's not going to be there. He is going to be there. It's the way the draft sim went. We are limited with what we have it there. So Bijan Robinson is on the board, the running back from Texas. You can type in BR and vote in the pin poll. SA for TCU offensive guard Steve Avila. Now, I know that Osiris Torrance is higher in the PFF sim, but something tells me the Cowboys have Avila higher, so I went with that one there. Will McDonald on the board out of Iowa State. Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame. So vote BRSAWMMM. More importantly, vote in the pinned poll, which is where Bijan Robinson currently leads with 53% of the votes. And because it's more fun this way, we do have the opportunity to stuff the ballot box and rig the election. Each super chat, dollar amount, is 2 votes. So $1 super chat will double your votes. $5 super equals 10 votes. $50 super, and I will do my damnedest to trade the pick. And that will probably be trading down because no one ever actually wants to trade up in these things, so we'll keep it trade down there. If you want to stop the count, $100 super chat, you can make the pick. Please remember to put the player's name in there, or even just like first name like Bijan. What we don't want is $20 super chat. No name. Doesn't actually specify things. So round 1 will go from now until after the initial segment. I will make note just briefly here some players off the board. Zay Flowers, Dalton Kincaid, Brian Branch, Jordan Addison, Darnell Wright, Miles Murphy, Deontay Banks, Kalijah Cansey, Joey Porter, the other top defensive players, all off the board. The one that gave me the most pause about going a different direction than I did with, we can go back to the 4 here, Jack, if you want for a little bit. Someone finally voted for Will McDonald, by the way. Emmanuel Forbes also in that category, but the Cowboys showed a lot of interest in both, so I was kind of torn there. I kind of figured that pick didn't matter. I kind of figured most of the votes would be Bijan, Steve Avila, or Michael Mayer, which is the case so far. Ian, Ian, you will get your chance to take a kicker. I have to be careful here because I don't want it to be 5 straight picks of a kicker. It defeats the purpose of doing this. But you will have a chance to take a kicker. I promise you we will get there later on in the draft. I saw someone asking about Zay Flowers. He went 1 pick before you. Frankly, a lot of the receivers went off the board. Quentin Johnston was gone. So the receivers were very much picked over in this side. So that's the super chat menu. You can have some fun, get some supers throughout the show. $1 super is 2 votes, so $5 is 10 votes there. As it sits right now, if you don't want Bijan Robinson, super is the way to make that happen. All right, we'll come in here later with some more updates on this, but tight end's an option in round 1. I saw some of you guys asking about Darnell Washington. I'm kind of hoping he gets to you in round 2. We'll see what happens with the sim. Would you draft a tight end in the first round? We'll spend some time talking about that in the rumors portion of today's show. But go ahead and vote. Y for yes, N for no. Would you draft a tight end in the first round? In general, the tight end round 1 value has not been great over the course of the NFL. Not that many hits. But this year's class is a little bit different at the position. It's very, very talented grouping. So Y for yes, N for no in the comments section. And if you are excited about today's fan-led mock draft, then like the video, right now. We are in round one, 53% going Bijan. 31% Steve Avila, 12% Michael Mayer. We're up over 200 votes. And then Will McDonald has 4%. So like the video for us right now, and you can continue to vote for the round one selection. Bijan Robinson is on the board. Brokov, yes. Kalijah Kancey is gone. In this mock draft, he went 18th to the Detroit Lions. Again, PFF Sim, I am limited with that in terms of this is what we have. No complaining about realistic, unrealistic. We're going to do it there. Steve Avila out of TCU, SA. He is, I know people like guards and this guard in particular, so I put him on there. He is second place right now. Will McDonald, Iowa State. Michael Mayer from Notre Dame, MMWM for those last two. Glad we got some Will McDonald votes. I was feeling bad because I'm like, wow, 4%. There's nobody on there. That's where we're at on that front. 54% say Bijan, 30% say Steve Avila, 12% Michael Mayer. Remember the super chat rules for today. $1 super, 2 votes. We will pull the numbers and run on our spreadsheet here to make sure that the votes align because we're at almost 300 votes right now. $5 super then would be 10 votes. $10 super chat is 20 votes, on and on and on. If someone throws in a 50, we can trade down. It makes it a lot more complicated, makes it boring as I got to sit here and try to get a trade and whatever. If you put in a $100 super chat, we will rig the election in your favor. We will stop the count and give you the player that you want, as long as we're being realistic. We're not going to do $100 super chat and hey, look what happened. We didn't take. We're taking Peter Skronsky. That's not how it works there. So I do have some super chats from Bloodslinger and Nick McClain. Remember, put the player name in there so we know who you're talking about. So Blood and Nick, if you can just comment separately who you're voting for, we'll give you the double vote, which really in a way is kind of tripling it because you can vote in the poll as well. And then we'll do it manually there. So Bloodslinger, Nick McClain, thank you very much for your super chats, but specify Bloodslinger's going Bijan. I'm going to write this down. I'm going to do just Bijan equals 2 more votes. And then Will McDonald from Nick McClain equals 2 more votes. I will say that gets McDonald still into 4th, and Bijan is still in first place there. So we will check in on the round one voting after the upcoming beginning of today's live Cowboys Report. We're still going to do our normal show, plus wrap up with the full kind of day 3 picks in the fan-led mock draft. Latest Cowboys rumors, Cowboys cut candidates from Blogging the Boys. I'm intrigued by their 5 names. A Cowboys mailbag as well, so you can just use hashtag Cowboys or super chat, ask your questions. We can still rig it if you want to ask a question and put Bijan or a player in there. We can totally make that happen too. So get your questions in, just super chats in. We'll have some fun in today's fan-led and entire Cowboys live show right now. Welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey, and today's show is made possible by RexMD. They are FDA approved and the #1 leader in men's telehealth. I'll tell you all about what they have later on in today's show, but you can get their best deal ever, 90% off, only $2 per dosage at rexmd.com/chat. We're going to give us some draft news for the Cowboys. Jackson Smith-Njigba, per NFL.com, is visiting the Dallas Cowboys. Now, he is Dallas Day eligible, which refers to the local prospects from the area that can come in. I believe, that this is a 30-day visit, meaning this is where 30 official, I should say. So there's a limited number of visits you can do that you can bring in to have on this team and eligible and bring them in for physicals, up-close meetings. Pretty clear sign the Cowboys have some interest in taking JSN. He's not a burner. He's kind of only played slot receiver, but he does get open, and he's, I think, maybe not consensus, but the general #1 wide receiver in this year's class. I will make note that there were several visits mentioned for Jackson Smith-Njigba and the Dallas Cowboys. The Ravens, Texans, Bills, Falcons were among the other ones. And Houston at 12, especially if they take C.J. Stroud, would certainly make some sense there. I don't think JSN gets to you, but I am glad the Cowboys showing interest in him in this draft class. Speaking of draft, how about taking a tight end early? The Cowboys showing interest in tight ends. Now, they do have good tight ends on the roster, at least promising ones. Jake Ferguson, Peyton Hendershot as well. Mike Fisher has a source telling him that they want to find their Travis Kelce, which, of course they do. Everybody wants their Travis Kelce. Who doesn't want perhaps the best tight end of his generation, minimum top 2 tight end in the NFL right now? The Cowboys have done work on tight ends. They had a lot of interest at the Combine. They met with a ton of them. They've brought several, including Darnell Washington, in for a 30 visits. And it just so happens this year's tight end class is absolutely loaded. Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame. Dalton Kincaid from Utah. Got to clear that back, by the way. Luke Musgrave from Oregon State. Darnell Washington, you mentioned him, from Georgia. Some smaller school guys. Tucker Kraft, South Dakota State. Zach Kuntz out of Old Dominion. Sam Laporta, Luke Schoonmaker. I mean, those guys are probably top 3 tight ends in a normal class, or top 5 tight ends at minimum. Bretton Strange, Davis Allen, more and more. There's a lot of great tight ends in this year's draft class that are going to have possibility in round 1 or on day 2 for the Dallas Cowboys. So would you draft a tight end in round 1? There are some real red flags about taking a tight end in general. The history, the positional value, all of that is valid, but it's a great class. So what do you think? Would you take a tight end in round 1? Y for yes, N for no. It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. All right, now again, I mentioned the tight ends. They don't hit that often in round 1. You're looking at the dudes from round 1. Maybe T.J. Hawkinson. I think Kyle Pitts will get there, but his quarterback's been bad, which again, positional value, you're leaning on a quarterback being great. You have that in Dallas, so you've got some benefits there, but there are valid concerns about, do you want to take a tight end? Like, that's a tough position to hit in the NFL. It is a great tight end class, though. I am a huge fan of what this class offers, especially early on. And depending on how the board falls, yes, I would have interest. In an ideal world, you get lucky, and one of them slides to you in number 2, but that doesn't always happen. Now, speaking of getting lucky, maybe you get a little lucky and things don't go the way you want in the bedroom, maybe you're not having the confidence, whatever. Yeah, those nights where you're a little nervous, maybe you had too much to drink. There's nothing worse than not being able to put the stick shift in drive when you need it the most. But have no fear, RexMD is here, even if you had a few too many beers. RexMD is FDA approved and the most trusted leader in men's telehealth. They have sponsored today's Cowboys Report to help you always be prepared. RexMD has made it simple, easy, and cost-effective to help all the men out there last longer and feel more confident in the bedroom. RexMD makes getting generic and branded Viagra or Cialis easy. Everything's online, even the prescription. They deliver it discreetly to your door. No waiting rooms, no embarrassing trips to the doctor, no insurance, no copays. Take advantage of the best deal they've ever offered and save up to 90% off. Only pay $2 per dosage with our exclusive link. Go to rexmd.com/chat for the limited time deal. Starter packs of generic Viagra or Cialis are now available for you guys to get started. That's rexmd.com/chat for up to 90% off. Link, rexmd.com/chat, is in the comments section and the description of today's show. A rumor I didn't really expect to see happening is on Anthony Brown. FanSided has floated the idea of going out and trying to acquire, or I should say re-sign, Anthony Brown. And I'm, as a former defender of Anthony Brown, I have issues with this idea. Brown tore his Achilles back in December, and just the straight timeline of a recovery makes it dicey for week 1, and you're a 30-ish-year-old cornerback coming off a torn Achilles. The team does not need you to start, let alone play right now. I don't see a ton of value here. And I thought Anthony Brown did not have the type of year that I thought he was going to. I thought he was much worse last year than what he was in 2020. So he's a pending free agent, or he's a free agent, I should say. And where would he rank on your depth chart? At best, it's CB4, maybe. Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Gilmore, Deron Bland are all correctly going to play over Anthony Brown. Jourdan Lewis is under contract still. I kind of want to see Israel Mukuamu play. So I don't see much of the need to bring back Anthony Brown because they got Stephon Gilmore and they could potentially draft somebody. So I don't see a need to bring back AB. What do you guys think, though? S for sign, P for pass. Go ahead and vote for me in the comment section of today's video. S for sign, P for pass. Go ahead and vote right now. In general, if I'm adding another corner, I'm not doing it via the veteran free agent route, especially not one coming off an injury that might cost him some time in week one. Now, drafting a corner, young, under team control for 4+ years, that makes some sense to me. Adding even on a 2-year, a $2 million deal for Anthony Brown, I don't see the benefit in doing that. I think Brown rather go somewhere he could actually play because everything goes according to plan. Anthony Brown, if you were to re-sign, does not play a snap in Dallas, at least meaningful snap. What's the benefit for either side there? I say pass. We are continuing to grow. We got 254,000 subs. Thank you all so much. I appreciate that. 155K is next up. We are a long way to go, 944. You want free Cowboys videos every single day? Hit that sub button right now. Austin Ekeler trade has now appeared as an idea for the Cowboys. Bleacher Report looked at the contenders, pros and cons of adding Ekeler, and the pro side is good, getting a good football player, right? He and Tony Pollard would form a pretty fun duo from that standpoint. But Ekeler has made it clear he wants a new deal. He probably wants $7, $8, $9, if not $10 million per year. And Ekeler is good at football. Now, he's not really a 1,000-yard rusher. He's more of a receiving threat. He's at 722 yards. You're approaching the 1,500-yard combined total. But this would be a third contract for running back who you're committing big-time money to. You got Tony Pollard under contract for $10 million, and you're probably going to draft somebody. Now, you have Ronald Jones, Malik Davis, Rico Dowdle. None of those guys even locked into the roster beyond, of course, Tony Pollard from that standpoint. So I do want to add another back, but I'm not sure a trade for Austin Ekeler is the way I would go about it. How would you guys fix it, or at least address it? Maybe fix is the wrong word, but you guys know what I mean. D for draft, T for trades, F for free agency. The real ones know what that abbreviates to. Sound off for me in the comment section. I'm not doing free agency or trade if I have to pay them real money. I'm not trying to pay another running back when I've already committed to Tony Pollard for $10 million here. That's not good business. That's not good roster construction, as we just saw moving on from Zeke Elliott. I say draft somebody. Could be if Bijan's there in round 1, you know what? I can live with it. Round 2? Sure. Round 3, round 4, it's a great running back class. I see no added benefits of throwing more money at the running back spot. Throwing some more draft capital, that I can do. One last note, the Odell Beckham Jr. saga is over, at least for this year, knowing how things tend to go around Jerry World. Odell Beckham got 1 year, $15 million guaranteed, worth up to $18 million from the Ravens. It's very funny to see Odell Beckham say, I'm not asking for $15 to $20 million, and then get $15 to $20 million. And so he was asking for that. The Cowboys had constantly been linked to Odell Beckham. And this is a shockingly big deal. When the numbers of up to 18 million, I'm like, oh, so we got like half of that in real money. Everything else was up to. That was my guess. Like, oh, it's going to be 1 year, $10 million. No, it's 1 year, 15. Overpay for the Ravens as far as I'm concerned. And the Cowboys played this correctly. Give a 5th-round pick, whatever. Got the Texans to eat some of the money and are paying Brandon Cooks about $12 million this year. Got to take less money next year. So the Cowboys, in terms of the Odell Beckham Cooks drama, absolutely played that part of the wide receiver room correctly. All right, some super chats for round 1 of the fan-led mock draft. Jeffrey Ward, $5. That's 10 votes. Lone Wolf, Steve Avila. That is 14. So Avila's got an extra 14. Robinson has an extra, I think Bloodslinger also commented Bijan earlier. So that is now going to be 4 votes for Bijan. Wait, actually, I did this right here. Yeah, 4 votes for Bijan, 2 for Will McDonald. So get those votes in the comment section. Proprietary data scraper is going to run here. Remember the Super Chat menu. $1 Super Chat equals 2 votes. $5 Super Chat equals 10 votes. $50 Super Chat, we can trade the pick. Now, I do have to get it to work within the draft sim, so it's not like I can magically trade the first round pick for 2 more first. We got to live within the confines of the PFF draft sim. $100 Super Chat will stop the count, and you get to make the pick. Seabass, $2. Give us the Andre Hopkins. I can do player sims. Or I can do sims or player trades in the sim. So I can do that. Now I would say let's keep it somewhat realistic here, please. But we'll count that under the $50 category of we can try to make some player trades here. We'll put 3, maybe 5 minutes on the clock. Here, I got to pull it up, Jack. Make the pick. BRSAWM Michael Mayer. I will have producer Jack give some shout-outs here. Yeecaw says simpin' for Steve A. So go ahead and put on another 4 votes for Steve Avila. Thank you, Yeecaw. I'm going to run the numbers here momentarily. As $5 from Bloodslinger. So we're now going to make it 14 for Bijan Robinson. So Bijan does still maintain a pretty sizable lead right now over Steve Avila. Bijan's at 57% of the vote. Steve Avila's at 29%. The difference between the extra Super Chat numbers here, it's probably about 55% for Bijan, 30-ish for Steve Avila, somewhere in that range. So it is still a significant advantage. Let's go ahead and put 4 minutes on the clock here for the fan-led mock. I was just gonna run it behind the scenes, but we can do that too. So fine with me. All right, there we go. Fan-led mock draft timer's going. As it sits right now, I am comfortable saying this. It would require Super Chat chaos for Bijan not to be the pick here. So $1 Super Chat equals 2 votes. $5 Super Chat equals 10 votes. $50 equals trade the pick. Jeremy Chugsburner asking about that. If you have a range in mind when you do the $50 Super Chat to trade the pick, I can make that happen. I can get around the right range as best as possible there within some reason. It just depends on I'm at the mercy of the Sims. I will say in this particular one, the Packers and Patriots at 45-46 have both already expressed interest. But I'm sure I could move down to the 30s, the high 40s as needed there. If you have a range, we can definitely make it happen there. It just requires some boringness of I'm going to sit here try to make a good trade for the Cowboys. So just keep that in mind there. I appreciate Chugs' burner saying tank for Oklahoma standout General Booty, who, of course, is Oklahoma backup quarterback. But I appreciate that. So thank you, Chugs' burner. 2 minutes left. It is still about 55% Bijan, 31% Steve Avila. So I'll also make note here, can't complain about this guy's not going to be there. That's just how it works. This is the draft sim that I ran. I don't think Bijan gets there, but weird stuff tends to happen. So we deal with it and we move on. So you can get your votes in still. 2 minutes to go. BR for Bijan Robinson, SA for Steve Avila, WM for Will McDonald, MM for Michael Mayer. It's now, okay, so we've got a little bit of a swing vote here. Steve Avila now up to 32%. Bijan Robinson, 54%. Ryan's, look, guys, we're using the PFF sim because the PFN one is even more broken. This is what we have, all right? And always be careful saying he won't get there. None of us thought CeeDee Lamb was going to be there. None of us did. So we are limited the tools that we have. I know, but the NFL draft is weird. Weird stuff happens. No one thought we were going to get Bradley and I in the 5th round. Look what happened there. So the sim where I'm using the best sim that is out there, it's always going to be a little bit wonky. That's because the draft is wonky. So 1 minute left, and barring Steve Avila Super Chat chaos here, it's going to be Bijan Robinson as the pick in round 1. He's at 54% of the votes. Avila's at 32% using the updated numbers from the Super Chat side. Michael Mayer, Will McDonald are not being voted for. There were some Super Chats for Will McDonald. I appreciate the love that he got some votes, but it certainly seems like Bijan will be the pick here with 30 seconds to go. Bloodslinger throwing in 10 more votes for Bijan Robinson. I think it's over. 20 seconds left here. There's always a bit of a delay, so we'll call it. Then I'll submit the pick, and then we'll get the round 2 options, at least in the poll side of things here momentarily. Madman says Tom Downey for kicker. Bijan is going to win the majority of the votes, not just the plurality, which will happen as we get later on. But that is it. We're going to call it. I know there's always some Super Chat delays here, but I'll wait 30 seconds or so just because there's the delay between like YouTube sending it out and you guys watching. I get all of that versus like the real time here in the studio. Bijan Robinson is the pick here for the Dallas Cowboys. I'll give it another 10 seconds here, but this is we're gonna call it. Bijan's the pick. I'm gonna hit submit. No Super Chats here. Round 2 is going to come up here momentarily, so I'm going to end the poll. Let's see who we get in round 2. I always get anxious with the way the board falls in the second round, because it's not always the best. So, all right. Round 2. Let's see who we got on the board here. All right, Tanner McKee, no. Nathaniel Dell, no. Tyreek Stevenson, maybe Tyreek Stevenson, because I'll send you the Slack. They did bring him in for a pre-draft visit. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. I'm gonna go by position groupings here within reason. What do we got on the interior of the offensive line? All right, so John Michael Schmitz is there, who I know many of you like. So we're going to put John Michael Schmitz on the board. Let me make sure there are no tackles. No, tackles all got picked over. Yikes. Any wide receivers? It's not the best grouping. Let's look at defensive line. I know many of you like Siaka Ika, so we'll put him in there. Feel free to throw some names in the comments. It'll give me some things to look at here. Put Siaka Ika on there for now. Let's go by alls. I know you guys like him. I might do that one. We took care of running back, so that's off the board as a need here. Devon A-Chain's there too. That's unfortunate. Oh, okay. Here's a good one. Someone I'm surprised is there. Trenton Simpson out of Clemson is there. He's the best off-ball linebacker on the board. Dan Henley went 1 pick before. So did Cody Mauk, Julius Brents, unfortunately. So I'm going to put Trenton Simpson in there at linebacker. And I'm going to pull off Tyreek Stevenson. I don't know if Riley Moss we can wait on, I promise you. Let me get the tight ends on the board. All the tight ends are gone. So Sam Laporta, Darnell Washington, all the guys you would take in round 2 are off the board, unfortunately. Schoonmaker's there, but we can get him in the 3rd, I think. I'm gonna pull off Nathaniel, or pull off Tyreek Stevenson here. Here's the 4 I'm going with. Cody Mauk is gone. The guards are very much picked over, unfortunately. But there is the center guard combo in John Michael Schmitz. So I'm gonna go with these 4. John Michael Schmitz from Minnesota. Siaka Ika out of Baylor, Trenton Simpson, linebacker from Clemson, and Tank Dell out of Houston, because I know some of you guys like Tank Dell. So I'm going to put that up as the poll right now, yeah, you can just copy it from there. I think that's the easiest way to go about it. That is the poll. You can vote now. We'll get super chats flowing as well on that front there. Kickers will come later. I promise you we will get to kickers. There's also a super chat, by the way, from Jeremy Chuggs' burner. Ryan, I'm sorry. I'm trying to go with the general top guys and go with guys I know we've been asked about before. So we'll see how the votes come in. But I saw your comment, Ryan, about Zach Kuntz. He's on the list later on, I promise you. Who would you pick between Bijan, Nolan Smith, Joey Porter Jr.? I go Joey Porter Jr. first and foremost. I think that is a really good football player. Not the biggest position of need, but I think he's going to be a stud. Nolan Smith, then Bijan. I doubt there's a good chance all three guys are off the board, but I'd be quite happy with any of those selections. So get your votes in the poll. Oh, I see what you mean, Ryan. My bad. Well, hold off on your vote then, Ryan. Don't vote immediately and see how things are going in terms of the polling. So right now it's John Michael Schmitz, 52% of the vote. Siaka Ika, 25%. Trenton Simpson, 19%. And Tank Dell, 5%. We can come back to this later. Oh, you got it? Cool. So early voting in favor of John Michael Schmitz. Blood Slinger threw in a $2 one, but Blood, who do you want? We're going to go just 1, 2, 3, 4. Same order as the poll because it's easier there. Blood Slinger says John Michael Schmitz. So I'm going to count that, John, or Blood, for John, and we'll check in again in a little bit. So we're going to do another segment. You have the entire time of that segment to vote. Throw in super chats as needed. The early results, though, heavily in favor of John Michael Schmitz, who I think they could look at as a guard potentially. So get those votes in the pin poll. It's 1 for Tank Dell, 2 for John Michael Schmitz. Another $2 super chat from Grant Rainwater. That's 4 votes. So heavy lead right now for John Michael Schmitz as he's got the majority of the votes and all the super chats so far. So keep them coming. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can super chat if you want to stuff the ballot box for your particular guy. And, of course, vote on the pinned poll side of things here on YouTube. We will revisit the round 2 selections here after this upcoming segment. Welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. Today's show made possible by RexMD. If you lack some confidence in the bedroom, RexMD here to help change that. They are FDA approved and the #1 leader in men's telehealth. Up to 90% off at rexmd.com/chat. Today's show is look at some of the top cut candidates for the Dallas Cowboys coming to us from our friends over at Blogging the Boys. 5 players they said could be released based on the 2023 NFL Draft. I think they got 5 guys that should be on this list, so I wanted to explore it. Beginning with Neville Gallimore, the defensive tackle, the 3rd pick of that CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs masterclass draft by the Cowboys. But he has not lived up to expectations. I said on that draft, if this draft class is bad, you can blame me because they basically went off of my own personal board. The Lamb and Diggs parts have worked out great. Tyler Biadasz has been a nice day 3 find. Neville Gallimore has not lived up to expectations so far. He has shown flashes at points in his NFL career, but he's in the last year of his deal. The Cowboys would save $2.75 million if they cut him, and the consistency has not been there for Gallimore. In fact, the numbers have kind of gone the wrong direction. He's battled some injuries, but he's also just been a straight-up healthy scratch at points, and he was playing deep into the preseason last year with what I suspect was a challenge from the front office to get him to be better than what he was in terms of his pre-process there. Gallimore is kind of caught between being a 3 technique and a 1 technique, has not wowed at either spot. I thought he was going to be a 3. Cowboys put him more in the interior. He's never lived up to the hopes that I know many of you have had so far. I don't think he gets cut after the draft. But if they draft a defensive tackle somewhat early, it puts him on the roster bubble, and he will have to earn that spot in the preseason, or else he is a prime cut candidate. So Gallimore is one of the bigger names on this list, but it does make sense. Next up is Jourdan Lewis, the cornerback, who carries a somewhat healthy contract. And if the Cowboys do go cornerback early, potentially round 1, round 2, that would put Jourdan Lewis's spot in doubt. So we'll go more in depth on Lewis and the other 3 names on this list. But I want you guys to know who you think the Cowboys should cut. Not who they will cut, who do you want them to move on from? It's the pinned comment on today's show. So if an ad break happens to come here on YouTube, cool. Take advantage of it. Ignore it. Head down there. Drop the player name you want the Cowboys to cut. All right, Jourdan Lewis release would say $4.71 million as of right now, kind of in line to be the top backup nickel corner. Lewis was the starter last year. I think I can speak freely here. Lost his job because of injury to Jourdan Bland. Jourdan Bland played really well for the Cowboys, and I think he has to start for Dallas. Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Gilmore, and Jourdan Bland, CB 1, 2, 3. Israel Mukuamu has shown some ability in that nickel corner role after the Cowboys were desperately trying to find people to plug and play. It ended up working out okay. There's also Nahshon Wright, Kelvin Joseph on the roster, who we will get to in a little bit. Some more cornerback conversation coming. But first, if you sometimes lack some confidence in the bedroom, had those nights where you get a little too nervous, or maybe you just had too much to drink, there's nothing worse than not being able to put the old stick shift in drive when you need it most. But have no fear. RexMD is here, helping you out even if you had a few too many beers. RexMD is FDA approved and the most trusted leader in men's telehealth. They have sponsored today's Cowboys Report to help you always be prepared. They've made it simple, easy, and cost-effective to help all the men out there last longer and feel more confident in the bedroom. RexMD makes getting generic and branded Viagra or Cialis easy. Everything's online, even the prescription, and they deliver it discreetly to your door. There's no waiting rooms, no embarrassing trips to the doctor, no insurance, no copays. Take advantage of the best deal they've ever offered and get up to 90% off and only pay $2 per dosage with our exclusive link. It's rexmd.com/chat for this limited time deal. Starter packs of generic Viagra or Cialis are available for you guys to get started. That's rexmd.com/chat for up to 90% off. Links in the comment section and the description of today's show. As promised, some more cornerback conversation as it relates to cut candidates. Kelvin Joseph, who, you all knew he'd be on this list. There's not much monetary savings here. Pre-June 1st, before, the preseason, $612K. After June 1st, so preseason cut time would be $1.37 million. Not an insignificant amount of money for a player that, as desperate as Dallas was to find the number 2 corner, the Cowboys didn't trust him to play football. They needed a number 2 corner in a biggest thing they had in midseason last year. They were trying dudes off the street. They had a second-round player on their roster, and they did not trust him to actually play football for them. Kelvin Joseph, I think his confidence is shattered, both internally and the organizational trust in him as well. If Dallas does take a corner at pretty much any point, frankly, which I think there's a good chance that they do, it would be Joseph fighting for his life on the roster, along with another recent draft pick at corner. But first, if and when these guys get cut, we'll have the news for you. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/@CowboysTV. Free videos every single day right here on the Cowboys Report. The other corner on the bubble, Nahshon Wright. The former third-round pick, top 100 selection. Understandably, much has been made about Kelvin Joseph because he was an earlier pick. You also had a top 100 pick. The team did not trust to be on the football field. He had a really rough preseason. The numbers don't look that bad, but again, when you're not able to get on the football field and they're signing dudes quite literally off the street to play instead of you, that's a bad sign. Nahshon Wright has not lived up from the Cowboys to the Cowboys' expectations so far. I think, again, if they draft a corner, still a decently sized if, but I think there's a good chance that ends up happening. these guys, Kelvin Joseph and Nahshon Wright, are going to be fighting for their lives. Might come down to special teams in the end. So pick one to cut. If you can only move on from one of them, or maybe you have to move on, depending on, I guess, how you feel about both players. Who is it? KJ for Kelvin Joseph, NW for Nahshon Wright. Another popular name is offensive tackle Josh Ball, who simply did not fare very well at any point so far in his Cowboys career. Injuries, some power issues, not much savings here. Remember, you got to pay the guy you replace him with vet minimum, so minimal cap savings. This is about, hey, can we put somebody else on the roster that we like more? Does that guy exist? Because right now your roster locks, right? Tyler Smith, Tyler Biotish, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele. I think Matt Farniok is a roster lock, and I think Matt Waletzko had already surpassed Josh Ball. So that would be 7 offensive linemen. Then there's guys fighting for a spot. Alec Lindstrom, Alex Taylor, Brock Hoffman, Saini Chum Adoga, Josh Ball. You throw in a draft pick, which I would bet all of my money there's at least one offensive lineman, if not multiple, taken this year by the Dallas Cowboys. Now you're up to 8 or 9 players already, and that would put Josh Ball on the outside looking in of this draft class. So I think a lot of these guys, Ball, Wright, Joseph, and Gallimore in particular, are going to be, preseason cuts, somewhere in that range of like wait and see what happens there, injuries and whatnot. Maybe Jourdan Lewis gets cut because there's savings and he can go get a new job potentially. I doubt there's much trade value for any of those 5 guys. But again, the cut candidates: Neville Gallimore, defensive tackle, saves you under $3 million. Jourdan Lewis, the cornerback, saves you 4.5-ish. Kelvin Joseph, former second-round pick. Nahshon Wright, former third-round pick. And Josh Ball, a former fourth-round pick. Don't save you that much money, but it's getting rid of players who just have not panned out remotely the way they want to. And I think those last 3 guys in particular, plus Neville Gallimore, they'll be fighting for their roster lives come preseason time. They're going to be prime roster cut-down candidates for the Dallas Cowboys. All right, back to round 2. The Super Chat menu here. There was another $5 Super Chat from Blood Slinger. So John Michael Schmitz gets an additional 16 votes of the 200. He's at 48%. So let's put 2-ish minutes, two and a half minutes here, maybe 3. We'll go 3. We'll go down a little bit here since it is the second round. 3 minutes on the clock for the fan-led mock draft here. 9% voting Tank Dell, 48% voting John Michael Schmitz. Siaka Ika has 27% of the vote. Trenton Simpson has 15. So it would appear, again, to require some Super Chat chaos here to get either Trenton Simpson or Siaka Ika to surpass John Michael Schmitz as the pick, as a potential long-term center, guy that you think could play guard in year 1 for the Dallas Cowboys. This is the Super Chat menu here. We'll have some fun, maybe cause some chaos in the end. $1 Super is 2 votes. 2 votes. So it transfers all the way up there. $5 Super Chat equals 10 votes. $50 Super Chat, we will trade the pick. Now, we'll trade down because trading up is just chaos. Although, I guess if you really wanted to, we could, trade to 47 because Steve Vila went number 48 and we'll get a Vila or whatever. We just have to cheat. That's all it is. $100, we will stop the count and you win. Your player is the selection. So you want to go right in, we can vet the right in advance because we're not going to do we'll take, who was the 35th pick? Mozzie Smith was 34. We're not going to be we got Mozzie Smith at 58 because we cheated. And we're not going to do it quite like that there. So, minute and a half-ish to go. $1 Super Chat equals 2 votes, and upwards up to, $40 is 80 votes. That would be pretty close to swinging here because it is 47% right now for John Michael Schmidt. You can check in on the poll side. 47% straight up for JMS. Blood Slinger's thrown in some votes so far, some super chats, and it's really upwards of over 50% for JMS right now. Siaka Ika, 26%. Trenton Simpson. I'm a little surprised. It's only 16% for Simpson. I am intrigued on that front there. That's all that it is at this stage. But 48% with under a minute to go. I think at 30 seconds, I'm going to call it, end the poll, and then I will submit it once we end once that 30 seconds runs off, just in case of Super Chat chaos there. So as it sits right now, it's going to be John Michael Schmitz, the majority of the votes, ending that in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, but I'm going to end the poll with 30 seconds left, and that's the buffer for Super Chat chaos. So we're going to end the poll right now. Poll ended. He also had Super Chats for JMS, so that is likely the pick here. Funny comment there, Lon. 10 seconds left for any Super Chats here. Ryan Dixon, I see you. We'll see if Garrett Williams gets to the third. Ryan, if he's on the board in the third round, I will put him there. I promise you I'll put him there. And hopefully he doesn't get sniped before me, but I'm trying to keep it realistic there. So pick is in. John Michael Schmitz. Coming up next, I'm going to submit the pick. We'll do the third round poll starting. Then it's mailbag time. Get your questions in. Hashtag Cowboys or Super Chat. Let's see here. Okay, good news. Good news, Ryan. Garrett Williams is on the board. So round 3, fan-led mock draft pick. I'm putting him in there for you, Ryan. Garrett Williams is on the board. That is the cornerback from Syracuse. See who else we have here. All right, we got... Interesting. All right, let's see. We don't need a wide receiver. We don't need a running back anymore. All right, I'm just going to go by positions here. Receivers on the board include... Ooh, that's a fun one. I'm going to put him on there. How about Marvin Mims from Oklahoma? He's on the board. Let's look at the tight ends here. Wow, that's Luke Schoonmaker is there. He's on there, and there's some weird picks at tight end otherwise. I probably get another player here. I see Chandler Zavala. We took care of the guard needs, so I'm going to look elsewhere to start. Corners, we got Garrett Williams on there. Defensive line / defensive end. Who are we going with here? I think that's early for Carl Brooks. I don't love the defensive linemen, boys. DeMarvion Overshone went number 87 overall. So 3 picks before us off the board. I do like Dorian Williams from Tulane. Someone is asking about Riley Moss too. Riley Moss, he's pretty far down on the cornerback list, so we're going to ride with top guy Garrett Williams. Should I put a corner? What position should I put on here? I could do Kobe Turner. I'm gonna go with Dorian Williams out of Tulane. Tyler Scott's long gone. People want Riley Moss too. Jaquelin Roy, is he there? He's off the board at 83. All right, I'm gonna put in Dorian Williams out of Tulane. The round 3 in the PFF, I don't love the way that ends up going. So votes are in, or the poll is up. Garrett Williams from Syracuse, Marvin Mims from Oklahoma, Luke Schoonmaker from Michigan, and Dorian Williams from Tulane. Jack Campbell's long gone. Darius, North Carolina DT. Let me pull that up here. I'm not sure who you're referring to, actually. There's a couple Carolina DTs, but not North Carolina DT. Mims is up there. Garrett Williams is up there. So get those votes in. Again, the Super Chat menu stays the same. Kickers will be available starting in the 4th round. I'll start it in the 4th round for us. We will start kickers then, because I know how you guys are. You can also vote in the comment section. 1 for Garrett Williams, 2 for Marvin Mims, 3 for tight end Luke Schoonmaker, 4 for linebacker Dorian Williams. This is a much closer vote. It's early, but it's 24% Garrett Williams, 31% Marvin Mims, 20% Luke Schoonmaker, 24% Dorian Williams. So, I like Jeremy Chugg's. How long until we hear Riley Moss being sneaky athletic? He's just athletic. There's nothing sneaky about it. So, Blood Slinger already throwing in $5 for Dorian Williams. That is 10 more votes. That'd put him in first place. What's up, Marshall? Doing the fan-led mock here. Bijan, John Michael Schmitz, first 2 picks. 2nd round. Yeah. You say that, but hey, it's a sim, man. So, I can pull it back up. 25, you took Zay Flowers.
Ooh, I like that.
Cody Mauk at 57. So, that was for the Giants. Yeah. North Dakota State. Yeah. Guard. So, Bloodslinger has given Dorian Williams a narrow lead. And as tight as this race is, it might very well come down to the Super Chats side of things here. So, vote in the poll and the comment section. Remember, Super Chat menu rules here. One super, each Super Chat amount, we will double your votes. So, $1 Super Chat is 2 votes. $5 Super Chat is 10 votes. That's given Dorian Williams the lead right now out of Tulane. We got the proprietary data scraper here going. At extra 10 votes means a lot. He's up over in the 33% range, just ahead for now of Marvin Mims. So again, the Super Chats will not be, you won't see it on the poll side. We have the proprietary data scraper calculating it behind the scenes, though, so keep that in mind. Now it's mailbag time. 2 ways to get on the show. Use hashtag Cowboys or Super Chat. It's that simple. If you Super Chat, we'll feature your question, your comment, whatever it is. Otherwise, it's just use hashtag Cowboys. That way, Producer Jack can find your questions and bring them up on screen. Hashtag Cowboys or Super Chat to get on the show. Today's Cowboys mailbag is made possible by Manscaped. 20% off and free shipping on everything when you use promo code Cowboys over at manscaped.com. It's tax season here in the U.S., and that means Manscaped is here to make sure your paperwork is done and your boys downstairs are having fun. I'll tell you all about them later on in today's show. It's a mailbag. The first question, comment, really, coming in from TKG. Tom, I'm thankful the OBJ drama is over. So again, have you to go to the Eagles, F Chugs. It's a 1-year deal. Something tells me next year we'll be doing the exact same thing once again, but it is done at least for about a year. Jeremy Chugs' burner. Can you see the Cowboys trading their picks for a player on draft day? Maybe some day 3 picks. I don't foresee anything early round being moved, and they did already add players via those picks later on. They moved on from the likes of they got Brandon Cooks, they got Neville Gallimore, so they did already do those types of moves. Maybe there's one more left in the tank, but I think it's mostly going to be picks. Ryan Dixon Carroll, Matt Landers in round 6. Dude is a sleeper. That is the wide receiver out of Arkansas. I got the athletic testing here for you guys, and this is why it's sleeper stuff here. Now he is older, 24 as a rookie. 900 yards this past year, 6'4", 200 pounds, 4.3, 740-yard dash. Big size, big athletic ability. The lack of special teams value might bring him down because you're looking at a sleeper. Predator doesn't help you in that area. But I think sleeper is a fair way to describe him because that athletic ability, super appealing. From Christian Hodgins, traded for a player like Peter Skoronski or Jalen Carter. Depends on how far they slide. I don't want to get in the top 10 to get one of those guys because it's such a prohibitive cost that it's like a guard or a DT might not, especially an off-the-field concerned DT, and I think I would be a guard for you, kind of raises some red flags. Now, if they slide a bit further, I would consider you'd probably have to move the 2 at that stage to go get one of those guys, but you're getting a guy that's probably top 5-ish on your board, which I do think carries a lot of value from that standpoint. So do you want to move up in the top 15, whether it's for a Skoronski, a Carter, or any of the top falling prospects who could, in the CeeDee Lamb scenario, get outside that top 10 range for you? It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there, type in Y for yes, N for no. Roger Moore, who are some Oregon guys that you like, and what round? The immediate one for me that stands out, Christian Gonzalez is going to be a star. I love him. He's going to be a top 10 pick probably, so cross that off for whenever. Noah Sewell out of Oregon is the linebacker. I think he could be a potential third, fourth round pick, somewhere in that range. And then other one that stands out to me is DJ Johnson, who's kind of an upside edge rusher, is probably a day 3 pick. Maybe the center Alex Forsyth gets drafted. That's kind of it. It's not the best class from Oregon given other years in the past. John Camus, however you pronounce it. I'm not entirely sure there. Are you familiar with Killian Zierer, who is the Auburn offensive tackle, and Lorenz Metz, Cincinnati? I'm familiar with Zierer a little bit, not so much Mentz from the Bearcats, at least not yet. Killian's probably not going to get drafted. Maybe he sneaks into the back end of the 7th round, but both from Germany. They changed the rules, I think, with how the International Player Pathway Program tends to work. Maybe you'll get lucky and they'll change the rules for those guys, but I think they're going to be kind of UDFAs in the end. Today's Cow Report is made possible by Manscaped. If you didn't already know, it is tax season here in the U.S., and that means it's time for Manscaped to help make sure your paperwork is done and your boys downstairs are having fun. Make sure you spend your tax return money on the important things here like family, friends, and ball deodorant. Join the 8 million men who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com. 20% off and free shipping when you use promo code Cowboys. There's no better way to invest your tax return than back into yourself, and Manscaped has the full package from head to toe to make sure you get your money's worth this April. The Performance Package is the ultimate bundle to reinvent yourself and boost your confidence. 20% off and free shipping with promo code Cowboys at manscaped.com. Don't just get your money back this year. Get your swagger back as well with Manscaped. Promo code Cowboys at manscaped.com. Add information to the comments section and the description of today's show. Daniel Moriarty, I think we still got to get DeAndre Hopkins somehow because you know how Gallup is going to fare in 2023 after coming off the ACL in 2022. The lack of interest in DeAndre Hopkins across the board, including Dallas, is really weird to me. Like the Ravens, they spend $15 million on OBJ, but wouldn't spend $20 on Hopkins. Like, I don't think the interest is weird and makes me wonder if the NFL think Hopkins is almost done. I get he's costing $20 million. I don't think he's going to take a massive pay cut like Cooks was going to. But if the cost is super cheap, I still have some interest, yeah. DeLunatic, how far back in the first do you feel comfortable trading back? Still going to plug and play left guard. I think you have to be. I think the ideal outcome every year is you trade down and get your guy, right? That's what everyone wants to do, get more assets. The problem is every team wants to do that. And I think if you move down, if both Avila and Torrance are there, I feel a bit better. But I could also see a scenario in which, like, the Bills, Bengals, or Saints take a guard. I think the real issue is if you move out of round one, Houston, Arizona, Indy, LA, Seattle, Vegas, Carolina, Tennessee, all those teams are in desperate need of guard, well, varying levels of need, I suppose. I don't think you move that far down because I think there might be a run on guards early if they don't go in the first round. Brokov, Darius Rushing, round 3. He's freakishly athletic. It's a great candidate in the 3rd round. I don't know if he gets there. We'll find out. I think Dan Quinn could maximize him. So that's the cornerback from South Carolina. I always forget the school there. I think got the player right there, Brokov. Bradford Pena, would you trade for Jeffrey Okudah? I've seen the Twitter rumors of like random account says Jeff Okudah could be traded. No sourcing involved. No idea where it started. The Lions signed 2 corners, one of which to a cheaper 1-year deal. Okudah was their best corner last year. I doubt they're going to give up on him. If they do, sure, I'll call about Jeffrey Okudah. I'm intrigued by that particular idea. And that could be a scenario where they have interest in adding Jeffrey Okudah to the roster. But I don't think the Lions are going to give up on him. So it's a fun name to call about. I think the Lions are going to say, nah, we're keeping our number 3 overall pick. So keep it somewhat realistic. Name a player you want the Yacht Boys to go trade for this offseason. Drop that player name for me in the comments section. Alan Schroeder, think about Deuce Vaughn in the 4th or 5th round. He's smaller but tough as nails. Darren Sproles clone. Quick, shifty, can catch the ball and injury prone. He's somehow shorter Darren Sproles, which does exist. It'll be one of the smallest players ever in the NFL. But I think that's player right. I don't know if he's overly fast, but he does offer third down value. He hasn't missed time despite getting a fairly big workload and being small. He is pretty quick. 4th or 5th round, I love it. I'm a big fan of Deuce Vaughn. I would say few teams have a better feel for Deuce Vaughn than Dallas. Remember, his dad is a Cowboys scout. JND, who's the one player you absolutely want the Cowboys to draft that is going to be a steal? It's a good question. I think, I'm a big Darnell Washington fan, but you probably got to take him in round 1, so that kind of rules that one out. If looking more in the day 3 range at the sleeper grouping, there's a lot of guys I haven't gotten to yet. I think that Charlie Jones kid from Purdue, the wide receiver, bit of a 1-year wonder. Super intrigued by him at the fun skill spot. I'll put it this way. Whatever back, if you draft one in the 4th round, probably him. This running back class is insanely deep. I think Roshan Johnson has upside in that round if he gets there. There will be some great backs in the 4th round for you. Now, we are live on Mondays, daily videos as well. If you want to run the mailbags, well, they're filmed on Monday as part of our live show. So make sure you guys are subscribed. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV. Dash XL, do we trade back and draft Steve Avila? If you trade down, I think that's a great argument. I would wonder if the Cowboys go, they like their 5th-year option. I'm unconvinced they want to move on from missing out on that potential value that they see. I'm not as committed to it, but that sounds kind of like they are there. I think Avila's a prime option in the 1st round. It's the safe option. Plug and play at left guard, offers some positional flex, checks a lot of the boxes there. Red Hurricane, how would you feel about Tyreek Stevenson in round 2? I'm totally not biased towards him. I would have been a lot more intrigued if you didn't trade for Stephon Gilmore. We put him in, or we almost put him in there in the fan-led mock draft in round 2. So I think that's in about the right range. Is there going to be a better player at maybe a bigger need for you? I would not be mad though with Tyreek Stevenson in round 2. Drew Holland, sign Leonard Fournette. Oh, but why? Fournette wasn't good last year. He does offer some third down value, but you're talking about a player who averaged Ezekiel Elliott yards per carry. Is the O-line to blame? At least partially in Tampa, sure. I would rather draft somebody than I would be to throw a couple $1 million at Fournette, who I'm worried is kind of out of gas at this point. The free agency market is pretty mediocre, and I doubt you'll see that many guys sign between now and the draft because at this point, wait and see if a team gets a bit more desperate there. Are there any free agents left that you guys want to sign? Sound off in the comments section. From Ben Loving, what happens to Cooks Gallup if we draft Johnston, Addison, JSN, Hyatt? You probably rotate receivers a bit more heavily than maybe you would have planned to initially. I would bet one of those guys, Cooks or Gallup, might be gone next year. Gives you added depth. I think Tolbert's kind of like in a rough spot of, well, now what do I do? But drafting a receiver, I think, is in the cards for Dallas early. It just depends on how the board falls, right? All right, round 3, we are now going exclusively fan-led mock draft the rest of the way. I got to check the math here. There was another super chat that came in for Dorian Williams. That's 12 from Blood Slinger. So I got to do the math here. Let's check the math. That's not right. Shoot. Hold on here. Trying to see how close Dorian Williams is. Then we'll start the timer. Okay, so he's at that figure. Hold on here. Hold on. I'm trying to do math on the fly. That's not right. What the heck? I'm trying to do math here. Can you give me some shout-outs, Jack?
Yes, I can. Who you guys want?
That's right.
Red Hurricane 4, Ian 1, Creighton 4, Ragnarok Hal 4, Madman 1, 2, 3, 4. See what you did there. Oracle 3.
I've checked the math. With the updated numbers, Dorian Williams still trails Marvin Mims. It would be about 4% difference in the polling. So 3 minutes will go on the clock here. You can get those votes in. It's Garrett Williams, the cornerback from Syracuse, Marvin Mims, the wide receiver from Oklahoma, Luke Schoonmaker, tight end from Michigan, that's Jack's guy, and Dorian Williams, linebacker from Tulane at this stage. So math was checked. 3 minutes. That's good. 2:43. About 3 when I said it initially there. On the clock here. Another 10 votes for Dorian Williams here. So I got to run the math. I believe that's going to be enough to get him over the top. Checking the math now. That is by about 3 votes over Marvin Mims at this moment. So Blood Slinger is trying to rig the election in favor of Dorian Williams here. Very narrow race. I will check the numbers again here as more votes come in at the next moment. Jason Shell throwing in some more votes here for Dorian Williams. Oh, I actually need to totally double check these. Hold on here.
Make sure you guys are voting in the pinned poll. That's where you're going to get to have your voice heard if you're not sending in those super chats. Get in the pinned poll right now.
We're talking, it is still about it's a 4-vote lead here for Dorian Williams, but there are a lot more votes coming in, just normal votes right now, over Marvin Mims. So we're going to check in again. 45 seconds. 45 seconds. Dorian Williams is a very, very narrow lead. Let's get to 190 on the vote side. Marvin Mims got some more votes just now because he just jumped a full percentage point. So we're going to run the numbers here again at 190 votes, and we'll get the exact number here. Ryan, I will get the numbers for you on Garrett Williams. Again, the super chat menu is laid out like this. $1 super chat equals 2 votes and upward. So $5 equals 10 more votes. 50 will trade the pick. We'll trade down wherever we want to go to. You can also stop the count. $100 super chat to make the pick, and we'll end the count right there. Oh, boy. I got to do the math here because we're at 190, and the recent votes were all anti-Dorian Williams here. So it's down to 19% for Dorian. So that's going to be... 2 more votes for Dorian here. So that's going to be. I got this. We're fine. Don't give me shade, Jack. Yeah, I'm gonna check the math on. I'm gonna check the math on Marvin Mims here in a moment too. So that is 2 more. Oh, jeez. All right, 4. Frederick Turner did not specify who he wants. So as it sits right this second, it's 30, updated math here is 34.4% for Dorian Williams. That's behind Marvin Mims. So there have been enough straight-up votes for Marvin Mims. Frederick sends Mims. That's 2 more votes for Mims. It is, as of right now, let's do the math here. We'll end it here in a second. So that's going to be... Math doesn't make any sense. 10 for Mims. 10 more votes for Mims. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. I did specify that I would tell Ryan what is needed for Garrett Williams. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to end the poll right now. We're going to do a runoff. As we're going straight runoff style here. Let me get the exact numbers. Then we'll go 2 minutes. We can do the comment voting. And we'll have the numbers and super chats to finish it out. So give me a couple seconds here. I've got this on lock. Don't worry. It's 198. Updated numbers are coming. So that would be 60.
The polls have closed. The numbers are in.
Dorian Williams is at 34.3% on the updated figures. It's 12 for Marvin Mims. So hold on here. That's going to be 40.9% for Marvin Mims. In total, we're at, I just do the total math. That makes a lot more sense. 81 for Marvin Mims, like the total added up all votes there. And 68 for Dorian Williams. And then I did promise Ryan the numbers on Garrett Williams. We will allow a potential rigging of the election here. Garrett Williams is pretty far behind. He was at 47. So Schoonmaker was at about a 37%, 37 votes. So we will put 2 minutes on the clock. Runoff election style. It sits right now. Marvin Mims has 81. Dorian Williams has 68. Garrett Williams has 47. And Luke Schoonmaker's down there at 38. So 2 minutes on the clock. It is a runoff election for the third round. That is going to be only super chats to potentially swing the election again. Every dollar super chat equals 2 votes. There will be, by the way, a firm timer at the end of the clock. I don't want to have it be like a constant like $2, $2, $2, $2, $2, $2 back and forth that goes on for an hour. It's not going to be fun there. Tar Heel Cowboy has a $10 super chat for Marvin Mims. That's going to put him at 101. A significant lead over Dorian Williams at 68. So it is a 30-plus difference right now between Marvin Mims and Dorian Williams. You can also end it right now if you want to with a $100 super chat. I certainly would not complain about that one there, but there is less than a minute to go. 20-piece from Dorian Williams, or for Dorian Williams, I should say. Got a little race here. That puts Dorian Williams in the lead over Marvin Mims. That is Douglas Shepard's first super chat. Thank you, Douglas. 30 seconds left. Then we will call it. Remember that there is a delay, so you better get that in quickly there. Marvin Mims has been surpassed in the runoff election over Dorian Williams. 108-101 with 10 seconds left. I assumed, by the way, I do assume that Douglas wanted Dorian Williams and not Garrett Williams, but it wouldn't have mattered. He would have been behind anyway. Frederick Turner and Uncle Sam's Cowboys. Who is Frederick voting for? We're stopping the count. Uncle Sam's and Tar Heel Cowboy both come through. That's an extra 30 for Mims. And Frederick wants Wims. Garrett Bryant wants Dorian. So we're going to count. That stops here. Okay. I'm all out of whack here. I'm all out of whack. Who did Frederick Turner want? Okay. That's 6 more. So that's 137 for Marvin Mims. Game Time Bryant threw in a 10-piece for Dorian Williams. So that's going to be another 20. And I got Jason Shell. I got Tario Cowboy in there with a 4-piece. That ends it. We're stopping the count. I don't want to have it be just a constant 5 minutes of like $2, $2, $2, $2. It is, in one of the most narrow elections we've seen in our nation's history, Marvin Mims takes down Dorian Williams by a couple of votes. So Marvin Mims is the selection. Wide receiver for Oklahoma is the pick. We are on to round 4. I will put a kicker in here for you guys. I promise you. So that was fun. I don't know about you guys. That was fun. All right, round 4. Fan-led mock draft. All right, so we got some dogs here. Corey Trice, cornerback from Purdue. You want a big boy in the middle? How about Kobe Turner, D-line from Wake Forest? I promised we would do a kicker. Jake Moody is on the board. Jake Moody is there. I promised kicker options starting in round 4, even though I hate it. Kind of want to don't put him on there, but I'm going to do it anyway. One more piece here. What are we going to do? Ooh, this is a fun one. I got to find a tight end at some point. All right. Tight end. Schoonmaker's been long gone. Or at least in the 4th round, I should say. All right. Options are in for the 4th round of the mock draft. They are Corey Trice, cornerback from Purdue. We should probably build a list logo as we go of the picks. I should have had you do that. That was on me. Just do the Cowboys logos there. I have Kuntz on there for you, Ryan Dixon. Let me check on Voorhees. Unfortunately, Ryan, and I'm sorry to tell you, Andrew Voorhees went number 125. So he went off picks before this one. Otherwise, he would have been on there. So I apologize for that. Zach Kuntz out of Old Dominion. Jake Moody out of Michigan. Kobe Turner, the defensive lineman from Wake. And Corey Trice from Purdue. It has been all offense so far, hasn't it? Been running back, guard / center, wide receiver. So votes coming in now. In the pin poll, we're at 55 votes right there. 58 votes there. Let's get those in. The super chat rules are as follows. $1 super chat equals 2 votes. So a $5 spread equals 10 votes. We'll keep that math rolling the entire time. I've got my spreadsheet up to count it. $2. Kobe Turner is second. Jake Moody and Zach Kuntz out of Old Dominion, who is in the lead right now. 41%. Red Hurricanes mad that there's been no defensive players. Fan-led. It's fan-led. Bijan in round 1, Steve Avila in the 2nd, and Marvin Mims in the 3rd. Corey Trice. Oh, sorry, not Steve Avila. It was John Michael Schmidt. Sorry, I saw Ryan mention Steve Avila. John Michael Schmidt's in the 2nd round. I wish Avila was there. That'd be a home run pick. Corey Trice, cornerback from Purdue. Kobe Turner, defensive line from Wake Forest. I promised you a kicker. There's one in there. I will try to get you a safety in the next round here. I have my eye on a couple guys for you. How about that? We got a $10 super chat from Douglas Shepard. He's going Trice 20 votes for Corey Trice from Douglas. That puts him in the lead. Rashard Lee, what's better, Jack Daniels or Fireball? I like Jack Daniels more. I'm not a huge fan of the other options there. So I'll do some math here. I'm going to get set up to make sure we got all the right numbers in here. So this would be that would put Corey Trice in the lead over Zach Kuntz. Ryan Dixon, if you mean Rashad Torrance, I'm out. He's slow. He ran like a 4.8. That's just not gonna win for me there. So as of right now, Corey Trice is in the lead. Let's put 2 minutes on the clock here. In the 4th round, the $10 super chat from Douglas Shepard has vaulted Corey Trice up over Zach Kuntz at this stage. 2 minutes on the clock starting right now. I'll get the exact difference in the numbers here for you guys. 38%, of course, for Zach Kuntz, and we are at the 89 and 90. We are at 53% for Corey Trice. A bit of a runaway race at this stage. Red Hurricane. I draft Downey as GM. If I can't, then Trice. So 2 more for Corey Trice. Continues to rise in the rankings here. He's up at 55%. So we got a minute left. And it would appear right now that Corey Trice is on the verge of being the first defensive player taken in this fan-led mock draft, passing on Zach Kuntz. Oh, Trey Dean is a better play than Torrance. That's a good point there, JND/Ryan. We'll see. I'll try to get a safety here. There's 40 seconds left. Remember, Zach Kuntz has the straight-up voting lead at about 39 votes here. But Corey Trice, thanks to Super Chats, has surpassed him at this stage. So, last call on the Supers to swing the vote in. Kobe Turner can make a run happen. Again, the Super Chat menu is as follows. Every dollar Super Chat equals 2 votes. So $5 is 10 votes. 50 will trade down. We'll trade the pick or go try to trade for a player if you want even. $100 Super Chat, you can make the pick right there. This is we can stuff the ballot box, have some fun in the process. I'm going to stop the poll here. I'll give the delay for the Super Chat here. Bijan Robinson went round 1 to Texas. John Michael Schmitz to Minnesota. Out of Minnesota, the offensive lineman. Marvin Mims in the 3rd round. And Corey Trice out of Purdue is the upset pick in the 4th round. On to round 5 we go. See if any of the tight ends fell to us. Let's see what we have here. All right, I am putting in a safety/linebacker here. Marte Mapu out of Sacramento State is someone asked about sleepers earlier. There you go. There's one of them. We're going to get a fatty up front. Gerard Clark out of Coastal Carolina. Some small school players. Let's see what's on the board at linebacker. I kind of got a linebacker/safety there. Let's look at any good edges that I love here. Not really. Corners. We just took a corner. Never mind. Tight end. Okay. You guys got lucky. Zach Kuntz is still on the board. We will also again include the kicker. Oh, I should also look at quarterbacks here too soon. Oh, I don't know if the quarterback's going to get to you. Hold on, I got to change this here. DTR and Clayton Tune are both on the board. But I have to put Zach Kuntz on there. We need to get some more defensive pieces in there. Would you rather have a quarterback or a safety linebacker from Sacramento State? I kind of don't think people are going to want him. Safety, quarterback. The linebacker. Oh, Jesus. I wish I could do 5. All right, I'm going to do this. Should I pull the kicker off? I'm going to pull the kicker off. And if you want a super chat for the kicker, you can. I am going to put Clayton Tune, the best available quarterback, on there. So, Marte Mapu, the safety linebacker from Sacramento State. Jourdan Clark, a fatty on the defensive line from Coastal Carolina. Zach Kuntz out of Old Dominion. And Clayton Tune out of Houston. The kicker will get to the 6th round. Promise you. Kicker, based on the board, I'd be shocked if he was gone. So I'm playing the guessing game there, I suppose. Marte Mapu, Jourdan Clark, Zach Kuntz, and Clayton Tune are the players on the board. We'll go 3 minutes on the clock. It took me a little bit to get there. Get those votes in on the pinned poll side, and feel free to rig the election in favor of your player. $1 super equals 2 votes, so $5 equals 10. I am surprised Zach Kuntz has slid. I remember the last time we did the fan-led mock draft, somebody slid that people were in shambles over not getting because of other super chat shenanigans. Then you get lucky sometimes. Sometimes you don't there. So we're in round 5. Zach Kuntz from Old Dominion, Jourdan Clark from Coastal Carolina, defensive tackle. Marte Mapu out of Sacramento State, safety/linebacker. Clayton Tune, 9% of the vote, quarterback out of Houston. 3 minutes on the clock here. It is 54% going Zach Kuntz out of Old Dominion. Again, the super chat menu, $100, you can make the pick. We'll give you, you can even pick a kicker, which I'll be honest, I don't want to draft a kicker. I don't want to. They're kickers. Cade York wasn't even good last year. He wasn't. Brett Maher outplayed him. So I don't want to draft a kicker. I feel like we're going to come round 6, round 7. I feel like that is just the inevitable path here for the Cowboys. Jourdan Clark's at 32%. Zach Kuntz is at 52% here. So make sure you guys are voting. Ian is convinced we're going to draft a kicker. Okay, Ian. You want to make it happen, put the 100-piece in right now. I will allow override kicker for Jake Moody in the 5th. It would cost Zach Kuntz because he ain't making it to the 6th. I doubt any of these guys made it to the 6th, frankly. But, hey, weird stuff happens. So 50% of the votes going in favor of Zach Kuntz. Red Hurricane is trying very hard to rally the voters to go defense. I respect it. $5 super chat from Tristan Brown. We'll answer his comment while everything comes in here. Tristan Brown, what's your opinion on those jackasses at PFF locking the mocks behind a payroll? You can have my $5 instead, Tom. Thank you, Tristan. I would like to just use PFN's free one, but it's just not that great of a sim. You can unmute yourself, Jack. You can clap back there.
It's garbage.
Oh, you're not. Yeah, it's disappointing. But there you go. Minute left. Thank you, Tristan. I appreciate that, by the way. Zach Kuntz has 49% of the vote. Jourdan Clark has 33%. Ryan says Tristan votes for Zach Kuntz. Ryan really wants Zach Kuntz on this team. Probably so he can get the Kuntz jersey, right? Red Hurricane wants defense. I got two conflicting of mindsets there. It is 30 seconds left. So barring super chat shenanigans, it is going to be Zach Kuntz, the pick in the 5th round out of Old Dominion. That is where we stand at this point. We'll wait and see what else happens. But 10 seconds left. 100% Kuntz jersey. There you go. Quantum on the kicker in round 1. There you go. 3, 2, 1. I'm ending it. Zach Kuntz is the selection in the 5th round. So hit the draft on that one. Round 6 coming up. Round 6. All right. Wow. Okay. So we got some dudes now. Marte Mapu is still there. He's going to stay at that first slot. Broderick Martin, if you're looking for a bit of a run-stopping defensive lineman from Western Kentucky, he is there. The quarterbacks have been taken heavily. Stetson Bennett is the best available quarterback. Matt Landers, I'm just looking at the sim for you, my friend. He will be there in the 7th, so we can afford to wait. I'm just looking at the numbers here. We can afford to wait there on him. And then Keandre Coburn's long gone. I apologize. And then it's the kicker, Jake Moody. So an interesting batch of players here. Marte Mapu from Sacramento State is on the board. Broderick Martin, if you want that run stopper, he fell to you. Fell, an emphasis there, to the 6th round. Stetson Bennett, if you want a quarterback, he's there. And Jake Moody is also on the board. So early votes trickling in now. Ooh, it appears to be a Broderick Martin, Stetson Bennett race. Jake Moody not getting many of the votes here. I'll make note. I'm just looking at the sim, the rankings, all that stuff. There is a chance that Jake Moody does not make it to the 7th round. So keep that one in mind.
As the number 2 Michigan fan at this company behind CEO James Yoder, I watched basically every Michigan game this past season. Jake Moody was automatic. So you should vote for him.
So Marte Mapu out of Sacramento State. Broderick Martin is leading the way. And that's interesting because, remember, there's only one 7th-round pick, which would mean it's a quarterback or a kicker, in theory. Well, I'll give other options, too. Let's go ahead and put 2.5 minutes here. This came in before the mock, by the way. Eli, before this next pick. Eli, you worried about this draft time for the Cowboys? Not really. I don't love the players this year. I think it's kind of a weakish draft, but Cowboys draft pretty well, so I'm pretty confident in that one there. So the round 6 options. I got 3 minutes on the clock here. Marte Mapu, Broderick Martin, the defensive lineman from Western Kentucky, Georgia quarterback Stetson Bennett, or Jake Moody, the kicker from Michigan. Now, Broderick Martin right now has 45% of the votes. This is a runaway, and we got 1 pick left. So if you wanted a kicker and a quarterback, you're not going to get them both. And that could lead to some chaos in the 7th. So vote in the pin poll. 2.5 minutes left here. You can also comment throughout it. You can use the comments to sway others to your side here. The Super Chat menu, what we have up top here for you guys in terms of the rules. A dollar Super Chat equals 2 votes. So basically each dollar you spend doubles the vote you have. So a $5 Super Chat, 10 votes on whatever player you want. $50, you can trade the pick. At this stage, the Miami Dolphins have expressed interest at $238. You're picking at $212 right now, by the way. $100, we will stop the count, and you can make the pick by yourself. Ryan Dixon Carroll, Matt Landers, I'm looking at the way it's fallen for me. I feel confident saying he will be there for you. But we have to wait and see. They also took a receiver already, so drafting 2 is a bit dicey. I know he'll probably be gone, but hey, I'm just looking at the sim, how it's laid out. He should be there. So Marte Mapu is 16% of the vote. Broderick Martin is running away with this, 47%. The next closest is Stetson Bennett out of Georgia. So you got a fatty at defensive tackle, 47%. Stetson Bennett, 21%. Jake Moody, 17%. Is a kicker not going to happen this year? Kicker might not happen. I don't know if he's going to get to there and get to the round. And I'm not going to cheat for you because it's a kicker. I'm not cheating for a kicker. I refuse to do it. I doubt Marte Mapu gets to you. I doubt Broderick Martin will get back to you. I'm also unconvinced Stetson Bennett's going to get to you. Maybe Max Duggan's there for you. But Marte Mapu, Broderick Martin, Stetson Bennett, Jake Moody. Under 30 seconds left. The last call for Super Chats here. DeMarvion Overshown off the board before you're picking the third round, Ben Loving. So, yes, you did miss out on him, unfortunately. Last call for the Supers. I'm going to end it. I'm going to end the poll. It is going to be Broderick Martin as the pick in the 6th round. So a fatty goes off the board for the Cowboys. I think Red Hurricane might like that one a little bit there. He is excited. So we're taking Broderick Martin, and we're going to round 7. Round 7. This is the last pick. All right, so we have Matt Landers is there, the freaky athlete from Arkansas. Also on the board, I'm going to go look at the quarterback. Max Duggan is there. Stetson Bennett is gone. Max Duggan is still on the board out of TCU. The quarterbacks are really picked over. You're getting Max Duggan, or you're just going to deal with it. There's not much of an option there. I'm going to do a linebacker here. Aubrey Miller, who I think they've shown some interest in out of Jackson State. Make sure there's not anybody better there. Like, we grab the corner, linebacker, anybody good? That's probably the play there. I'll double check edge. And nobody good. You know what we should do? Yeah, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do this. Screw the linebacker. The linebacker's not that good. We're gonna have some fun in round 7. Let's put a fullback up there. Got a fullback in there. Or what should we do? No one cares about fullbacks. Aubrey Miller, the fullback. Sound off in the comments. And then I'm checking the kicker. Oh, he's there. Jake Moody is still there. Ryan, you can. Ryan's like, I can't super chat. This is bullshit. I am on Cash App. I think I'm on Venmo at What Going Downey. We will also accept that if it's not letting you super chat there. Fullback or Miller? No fullback. Okay. No. People said Brokaw likes the fullback. All right. Here's what we'll do. I have a great idea here. Great idea. All right. Final ones are in. Final poll is in. It's at What Going Downey for the Cash App, Venmo, my friend. Yeah, What Going Downey. I mean, N-E-Y. Yeah, let me just send you the exact one here. Hold on, Ryan. Don't send stuff. I believe it's the one I just put in the comments. Let me actually pull up the app here and double check because I don't ever use Cash App. But poll is up. Got Matt Landers from Arkansas, Max Duggan from TCU. I have grouped the fullback and linebacker together, and if they win, we will do a runoff. How about that? I think that's a fun idea to balance the fullback linebacker standpoint there. And the kicker, Jake Moody. Those are the 4 options, and right now we are in a runaway race for Max Duggan and Jake Moody. Matt Landers and Hunter, I got the pronunciation down somewhere. Let me go find it. The fullback, it looks like it's Lupke or Lupke, but it's not that. It's something else altogether. I'm pulling up Cash App here, Ryan. So stand by on that one. So I actually have to get you the right name. Lipke, Hunter Lipke is the is the fullback there. So Matt Landers from Arkansas. Max Duggan from TCU is in the lead right now. Hunter Lipke / Aubrey Miller, the fullback from North Dakota State, linebacker from Jackson State, have 15% of the vote. And the kicker, Jake Moody, is at 29% of the vote. Yeah, it is just, it's at What Going Downey, if you're not able to super chat there, Ryan. Should be just like that. Looks like it's a green tea profile picture. So we'll put 3 minutes on the clock starting after we break down the last super chat. Then we will see where things stand. Max Duggan leads Jake Moody 44% to 30%. 12% for Matt Landers, 14% for Hunter Lipke / Aubrey Miller. $5 Jeremy Chugg's burner account. Guys, the O-line with the most flexibility, most versatile defensive players, Dreamers, Isaiah Simmons, and Micah Parsons. But who's the guys this year? Andrew Voorhees is coming off a torn ACL, raises some red flags. He's played all over the offensive line. That should carry some value. I think Cody Mauch, if he had to, could probably play all 5 spots. Hasn't done many of those so far, though. He's only been a tackle, really. Defensively, you got not that many guys. I think like Brian Branch could play, I think, almost any spot in the secondary. You could play nickel, outside, even strong free. So I kind of like that one on that standpoint as an option. All right. Max Duggan, 43%. Matt Landers, starting the timer now, 38. Or Matt Landers is 11%. 15% Hunter Lipke / Aubrey Miller. 31% Jake Moody. So, kicker versus the quarterback here in round 7, and there can only be one. And I know Ryan was trying to get the Cash App going here for to potentially rig the election here. Red Hurricane says, F them kickers. Quantum wants the kicker. But it's 42%, 31%. A $5 super chat for Jake Moody coming in. So we got kicker super chats now. Let me do the math here. I'm checking the math. So we're at 37. 42% for Duggan. And 10 for Duggan now. All right, having some fun. Let's do it. Having some fun here. I'm checking the math. That is going to put Max Duggan in the lead. A 20 from Eli Aaron with no specification for who it is. Uh-oh. Eli, who you going with here? This would swing it in the favor of Eli Aaron. It's a close enough race. I need to see the comment from Eli Aaron because I'm not going to... He says get the kicker. That is 50 votes, extra votes for Jake Moody. He is now in first place. So I'm going to run the math to make sure I've got the actual numbers here. To keep everybody fully updated. A big swing in favor of Jake Moody. He's got 76 votes now. Max Duggan checking in on the leaderboard here. He's got about 50 votes. So it's a big difference right now in the leaderboard with less than a minute to go. Jake Moody has taken the lead. I don't see Ryan coming in yet. He'd asked for the Cash App, and there's nothing yet from Ryan. It's okay. We've got 30 seconds left. The kicker is in the lead. Red Hurricane responds. And now it's back in favor of Max Duggan. F them kickers, he says. So we have the same amount of super chats here for the kicker and for the quarterback. So it's 41% Max Duggan, 30% Jake Moody. I'm going to go runoff style. I'm going to go an extra minute and a half here. Another kicker! Blood Slinger. So we'll put a minute back on the clock, minute and a half here. It's back in favor of Jake Moody. Just like that. Another 10 for Moody. Eli says another 20. It's a big lead for Jake Moody. That's 40, 50, 90. It is 140 in favor of Max Duggan now, or of Jake Moody over Max Duggan. Jake Moody has skyrocketed up to the top. I'll get the exact numbers here momentarily. Another minute and a half left since there's a battle going on. We will respect the results of the duel. All right, let's check the math here. Five for Jake Moody. That's 150. It's a bit of a runaway now. It's 179 to 93 are the current numbers here. The exact vote totals since it's 101, so I can easily do the math there. Super chat from Delta Pisa MF, however you pronounce it. I'm sorry, Delta. Why always pick on a quarterback who will never contribute when we can pick up a kicker who could be winning us games? Jake Moody all the way. 15 seconds left. Now, remember the super chat rules here, Jack. Each dollar super chat equals 2 votes. $50 super, we'll trade the pick, but I don't think anyone wants to trade down here. If you are firmly committed to Max Duggan or Jake, put 30 more seconds since I've been rambling. A minute up. $100, and you can end it for whoever you want. There is, by the way, hold on here. Ryan Carroll has a 10-piece for Duggan. Thank you, Ryan. I see it now. Updating the numbers. It's 179 to 113. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate that. We have a special Cash App alert here. Stand by. Is it read only? Give me a second here, Ryan. We'll take care of you. A $10 Cash App from Ryan Dixon Carroll. Thank you, Ryan. That's counted in there. Okay, we kind of got off track. So 30 seconds. That's it. It is. I'm also just going to end the poll here. I'm ending the poll because the poll's over. The exact numbers, then we'll put 30 seconds up on the clock because it's at 110. It's nice, even numbers. Makes it easy to do the math and everything. There's no weird outlier. Oh, we only got this percentage of the vote. Whatever. It is 180. Another 10 from Eli Aaron. That's Jake Moody, right? So that is now 200 for Moody, just total votes. Max Duggan finished in at, there were a lot of votes down the stretch for Max Duggan, I will say. He is at 120. Or 121, sorry. 121 for Max Duggan, 200 for Jake Moody. So 30 seconds. 100 would end it. 100 would end it. You can still vote if you want to come out of nowhere for Hunter Lipke, a fullback, or Aubrey Miller, the linebacker, or Matt Landers. You can do that. but it is 200 to 121 total votes. That is the gap between Jake Moody and Max Duggan with 20 seconds left. It will be that after 20 seconds ends, hard stop. We are ending it there because I don't want to make you guys just be here for 5 hours going back and forth with various $5 super chats. That's just not fun for anybody. So 10 seconds left. There is a bit of a delay. We'll let any of those that come in, but the hard pause, hard end is coming here. It's about to be Jake Moody, the kicker, over Max Duggan in a back and forth wild ride with Eli Aaron and Blood Slinger and Red Hurricane and Grant Rainwater, Delta all getting involved with Jake Moody being the pick in the 7th round. So let's recap it. Jake Moody wins. It's Bijan Robinson, running back from Texas, in the 1st round. John Michael Schmitz, center out of Minnesota. Marvin Mims, wide receiver from Oklahoma. Corey Trice, the first defensive player, cornerback from Purdue. Zach Kuntz, the tight end from Old Dominion. Broderick Martin, the 6th round pick out of Western Kentucky, a defensive tackle. And the drama over Jake Moody. He beats out Max Duggan to be the 7th round pick out of Michigan. Thank you all for tuning in for our fan-led mock draft. I'll have a full reaction, by the way, to the fan-led mock draft later on this week. We'll make that happen, so stay tuned for that. And you can grade the mock, A, B, C, D, or F. We might do this one again because that was fun. We got a show before, not next week, maybe the week of the draft. We'll see what happens. But I do want to make sure we got at least one in. Daniel hated it. The draft do be like that sometimes. So grade it A, B, C, D, or F. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow here on the Cowboys Report. Thank you all so much for tuning in and having a good time with us here at the Cowboys Report.